Well, that was sure fun. Roll the intro.
My little pony, what is friendship all about? My little pony, friendship is magic.
Greetings, my brony and pig sister friends. Welcome to Crimson Analysis. In this episode, I'll be analyzing Season 9, Episode 8, Frenemies. Based on that title, I knew we would see these guys again. Obviously, things aren't going well as these three can't get along.
It's not healthy to hold on to all of this rage. I could lash out at any moment.
Wait, who's she talking to? Is that what's left of Evil Twilight?
I know a way that we can grow. Time to try something new, something better.
Wait, a song? We get a song?
No more solo. Trust is the way to go. And all we need to do is work together.
Please. No thanks, no way. I feel the need to say I'm smarter, stronger, and I don't need you to.
Stronger? Okay. I guess we'll downplay how bad you got your rear end handed to you.
I don't think we've ever heard Cozy or T-Rex sing before. Wait, did Cozy sing the first time we met her? No, I think that was just a montage. We've heard Krista sing before, and I think out of all of them, I like her voice the most.
It's time to try a better way to be bad.
Do we really need a better way to be bad?
United as one.
Teamwork, please. What a fad.
Combine all our strength. We'll go to any length once we have a better way to be bad. Let's go. Begin. This time we're gonna win.
The ice you're on is thin, so watch what you say.
I know you're in. I think I see a grin.
For all this pain and torture, I swear you'll pay.
This time we've got a better way to be bad.
Sounds like a long shot, there's better way to be bad.
There's just something in the tone of her voice that I like.
The ice you're on is thin, so watch what you say.
All of them have pretty good voices though. And while we're on the subject of voices, I don't think I ever mentioned this before, but I don't know why they changed Chrysalis's voice. It sounds very different now than the first time we saw her.
And as queen of the changelings, it is up to me to find food for my subjects. Equestria has more love than any place I've ever encountered. Perhaps if we knew what the plan was...
To be honest, I really liked the way her voice sounded before. I don't know, I can't think of any reason to change it. Having said that though, I don't think it's bad now. It's just very different. I don't like her voice any less than I did before. Just before, it was very unique. I still think she has a good voice. And when she lets down her guard, her voice is actually very pleasant to listen to. That song was great. I really enjoyed it. It's been a long time since we've had a good villain song.
Wait, this is my thing, a better way to be bad.
You shall do as I command, I will rule this triad.
Hey, this is my song.
Sorry, not any longer.
A better way to be bad. Now you're making me mad.
Won't the ponies be sad?
That would make me so glad.
Looks like it didn't work as well as Cozy had hoped, as they are still competing. They all tried to make it to the summit on their own, except for T-Rex. Cozy Glow and Chrysalis both fail.
It took about 5 minutes to deduce that Grogar was right. None of us could make it up alone. So rather than subject myself to the elements, I decided to let you two face the danger. Take what you learned and use it to my advantage.
Oh, that's smart. That's very clever. I guess T-Rex is more than just strong. He has a really good brain on him. They actually start to bond. It's over making fun of Twilight, but still. I guess it's true what they say. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So, they do work together. And by working together, they are able to get to the summit. This part always kind of surprised me.
Like her?
Betrayal!
Not betrayal. Teamwork. If T-Rex absorbs your energy, he might be strong enough to break through.
And then?
Then he gives it back.
I do?
Mm-hmm.
How do I know you won't take my magic and leave me?
Would we do that to you? Okay, normally, yes, we would.
I'll give you your magic back.
They must have bonded a lot more than we were shown. Because to be honest, Tyrik's word doesn't really count for much. Either they trust each other immensely now, or they realize they cannot do this alone. I'm thinking the latter is probably true. It's so weird seeing Chrysalis like this.
My magic!
Having a scene like this makes me think that these three will get reformed at the end.
When we helped each other, it felt better somehow.
I haven't felt like this since before I lost my hive. Having others who will be there for you is pleasing.
All of these years, taking power from ponies.
When you use your power to help others,
Yes, it feels...
I know this will irritate a lot of people, as we have had a lot of reformed villains in this show. But to be honest, if this happens, I wouldn't mind. I've actually liked Chrysalis for a long time now, as more than just a villain. I like her as a character. I would be completely okay with it if she got reformed. I think Chrysalis is one of those villains that people enjoy disliking. But you know what? I really do like her as a character. I actually sympathize with Chrysalis. She's pretty much lost everything. I feel sorry for her, to be honest.
No!
Ooh.
The magic of friendship is like a disease, an infection that spreads to those around you. I watched it infect my hive. I will not let it get me.
same.
Obviously.
But Groger said we have to work together.
Grogar is too powerful. Something must be done about that. Let Grogar think we're his loyal servants. In the meantime, we'll hatch our own plan.
Like I said, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
We're so much more powerful when we work as a team.
Okay, I have a problem with that. I find it very hard to believe that as powerful as Grogar is, he didn't sense the bell was nearby. The bell wasn't pulsing on the mountain, and now it is. It can clearly sense that its true master is nearby. If the bell can sense that, I find it very hard to believe that Grogar cannot. Or maybe he does. I have a theory that Grogar actually does know the bell is there, and that they were successful in retrieving it, even though they claimed to not be. He didn't say anything, or call their bluff, as they are working together now, and that's what he needs. As long as they are working together, it serves his purpose. So I believe he won't say anything until he actually needs his bell. As long as it's serving his purpose, he'll keep quiet. Another reason I believe he knows is because he said this.
Don't trust anything that nosy little Pegasus says.
I don't trust anything any of you say.
He obviously doesn't trust them any more than they trust him. That's also the reason he hasn't told them his plan yet. And I don't think he ever will. He'll tell them just enough to have them play their part, but never the whole picture. And we've seen his power. He is immensely powerful even without it.
I don't care how, but you must learn to work together. Each of you failed to defeat Twilight Sparkle and her friends. My power is greater than all of yours combined. This is but a fraction of it. Understood?
Okay.
He was able to completely silence 3 characters and also imprison them. And he claimed that that was only a fraction of his power. If what we've seen him do is truly only a fraction of his power, he's already a considerable threat. To be honest, I think Grogar could do some considerable damage to Equestria even without his bell. I've heard some people say that they think Grogar set up this test to make them work together, but I don't believe that's the case. Grogar is definitely powerful enough to go get the bell himself, but I believe he used this as an excuse to try to get them to work together. Grogar did say he was working on something, and he did leave and then come back, but I believe he's working on something else that we just didn't see. We do see the bell in his Palantir. I'm going to call it that because it looks like the stones that were used in the Lord of the Rings. But I think the work he meant was trying to find out where the bell was. Then he was going to go get the bell himself, and then decide to use the situation as an excuse for them to work together. Then there's that scene with Rusty Bucket. If Grogar had set this up, I don't think he would be there. Rusty has obviously been on that mountain for a long time. And as powerful as Grogar is, I don't think he can create life and place his created pony here as an obstacle, or manipulate memories of some pony he just found and thought, alright, you'll do for the test. I don't think Grogar has those abilities. If this was just a test, there's no reason for that pony to be on that mountain, unless Gusty the Great planted him there. I don't think she planted him there specifically, unless she prolonged his life, since she stole the bell a millennia ago. I think she chose his ancestors to protect the bell, and as the generations went on, every generation took over the mantle of protecting the mountain. He obviously doesn't know the bell is up there, and thinks he's just protecting ponies from the mountain. I believe Gusty the Great originally did plant ponies on that hill to protect the bell, but as the generations went on, the ponies on that mountain forgot what they were actually protecting. And that was episode 8, Frenemies. I really enjoyed this episode. I knew we would see these characters again. We will probably see a lot of them over the season, but I didn't think we would get an episode focused solely on them. All the main characters we know weren't even in this episode. I don't think that's ever happened before. Even if we had a CMC episode, there is still at least some main characters in the story plot, either in the background or with a small speaking role. I don't think we've had a single episode where not any of the main characters have been shown. Even in Slice of Life, which focused on the background ponies, the main 6 were shown, and so the CMC. Even if the episode didn't focus on any of the main 7, at least one of them would still show up. The only episode I can think of where that happened was Hard to Say Anything. None of the main 7 showed up in that episode, although the CMC were there and they're pretty much main characters now. But again, in this episode, we didn't see any major characters. Although I'm sure these characters will become major as the season moves on. I do have a couple scenes I want to show this time around.
If we are to trust one another, perhaps inform Lord T-Rex to stop trying to absorb my essence! Do you know to whom you are speaking?
How could I not? You tell your log every 5 minutes.
I haven't eaten this well in ages. So gross.
This episode gets an 8.8 out of 10 from me. We got to see these 3 interact again. The chemistry and dynamic between these 3 is always fun to watch. And we got a great song. Seriously, this was a really good villain song. It's been a long time since we've had any good villain song. That's it for this episode of Crimson Analysis. I'm Crimson Shield. Thanks for watching.
Do we really need a better way to be bad?
United as one.
Teamwork, please. What a fad.
Combine all our strength. We'll go to any length once we have a better way to be bad.